Alright, so this assignment is pretty straightforward. You're just going to take your worksheet where you drew 50 simple symbols and you're going to trace one of them with the pen tool. To scan it, I will kind of show you that in class. I'm not going to make a video of that, but it's pretty straightforward. You just put it on the glass, put your flash drive into the scanner, and then just scan it as a JPEG. I'll walk you through that. Real simple, and I'll kind of show you in the demonstration video how to trace something with the pen tool real quick. Again, if you don't have your 50 drawings worksheet, you're going to trace any quick sketch or small symbol. Doesn't really matter if it's from your worksheet. I would recommend you use that though, so that you kind of get used to making quick sketches and tracing them. There's also a tutorial, a printable, like written in picture tutorial in the project folder that you can use if you don't like this video. And here's some examples of just what that looks like. Once I get into Illustrator, it's kind of the same setup. You're going to set your drawing to kind of a locked but visible or slightly reduced opacity layer, and then you just simply trace over it with the pen tool on a different layer, and then you can colorize it and do pretty much anything else you want with it. So on to Illustrator. Alright, I'm going to show you how to trace a simple sketch with the pen tool here. What I did was I made a sketch, and then I kind of just took a photo of it with my phone. I have a smartphone, and I uploaded that picture to Google Drive. So here's my sketch. I just sketched a car. So if I right click on this in Google Drive and click download, that'll quickly download. Now if you don't have a smartphone, we have flash drives and a scanner that you can use. I'll show you how to do that in class. You just scan it to your flash drive, and then when you plug in your flash drive to your computer, it'll pop up under computer here, and then it'll probably be called sent on USB. Double click on that, and then most scanned images just have this kind of generic name, and there's your scanned image. That's not actually a scan, that's just a photo. But here I can go to my downloads if I downloaded it from Google Drive or wherever I got it, and then I want to put that sketch on my desktop. And an important thing about using images with Illustrator here, you're going to want to keep your Illustrator file and your photo file in the same folder. So I'm going to right click on my desktop here. I'm going to make a new folder. Trace symbol with pen tool. That's kind of all you're doing. And then I'm going to put my image file in there. And then when I save my Illustrator file, I'm going to save it inside this folder on my desktop to keep those two together. Whenever you have a project that has a lot of images that you're using, or whenever you need to keep your projects organized, make sure you just nest your folders or keep your folders together and label everything real well so that you don't lose track of it. So now I'm going to open up Illustrator and we'll trace our symbol. When the Illustrator opens, you're going to create a new file, so you're going to go File, New. When the new document dialog box pops up, make sure you put your name and then anything referring to the project, so trace symbol, okay, and then click OK. And then you're going to have a nice new document right here, and we're gonna insert our image into this document, and the way you do that is pretty simple. To insert an image into an Illustrator file, you're going to go to File and then Place. The Place command allows you to place any kind of file that is compatible with Illustrator inside an Illustrator file. And you notice I'm on my desktop here, and I put my image file inside of this folder, the trace symbol folder. Okay, so if I double click on there, there's my image file. So I'm going to click on that, and then notice it'll be linked to this file, and then I'll click Place. And that will place my image file in my document. Now my photo is actually really large, so I'm going to zoom way out, and I'm going to shrink it So when you shrink or resize your photo file, make sure you hold down the shift key so that you don't warp it in any way. So I'm going to keep holding down the shift key here and make it nice and small so that it fits on my paper. And then to zoom back into my artboard real quick, I'm going to hit Control 0 here. A couple things about images. I like to put them on a separate layer and lock that layer so that they're protected. So I'm going to make a new layer. To make a new layer, you go down to the New Layer button down here. Click on that New Layer button. And then we're going to put that link file on that new layer. Put it at the bottom down here and lock it. You can also, if your image is really dark, you can change the opacity of it. So mine's actually kind of dark, so I am actually going to change the opacity here. To do that, just click on your, or select your file, and then go to the transparency panel. If you don't see that, obviously go to Window, Transparency to show the transparency panel. And then with your object selected, I'm just going to turn down the opacity to about 50% here. Maybe 60%. Okay? And then I can lock that. Alright, now it's a little easier to kind of see the car, and it won't, you know, contrast well with our drawing. So when I want to start drawing my car, I kind of like, again, to put the image on a separate layer and lock that layer, and then I like to work on another layer. So now I'm going to go to my work layer here, and then I'm going to zoom in on my car here. Remember, you can zoom in using Control plus or minus, or you can hold down the Alt key and use your scroll wheel. I'm going to switch to my pen tool, okay, and then I'm going to start tracing this. Now what I recommend for you beginners is that you just kind of loosely trace it and then go back and clean it up. So if I start out with this car here, I'm going to click and drag up, and then I'm going to go and click and drag out here to kind of make the bump of my car. Okay, and it has a white fill. If you don't like that, you can go to your fill, click on that, and then set the fill to none to get rid of that. And then, you know, obviously re-click on your point to restart your handle. So I can kind of pull out my handle here a little shorter and then keep tracing my car. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, you can always go back and adjust it. Okay, so I'm tracing around here. Okay, I pulled that handle out way too large, but we can always come back and fix that. And then the wheel well needs some work here. Remember, if you pull out a handle or pull down a handle, you can always hold down the Alt key and then break your handle in a different direction to get a sharp corner. So if I want to do this wheel well right, I would click and drag here to get a slight curve, and then hold down my Alt key, click on my anchor point, click upward, and that'll force the curve to go up. Then I'll click and drag again, hold down the Alt key, click and drag that out, and then click on my very first point to close my shape. Now I can clean up my shape with the Direct Select tool and the Convert Anchor Point tool. Before I switch to the Direct Select tool, I'm just going to use my pen tool. A couple of tricks with the pen tool. If you want to switch to your Convert Anchor Point tool, you can go to your pen tool, click and hold on it, and let go on the Convert Anchor Point tool. Or you can just hold down the Alt key. I actually like this option better because it's a little faster. So with the pen tool, if you hold down the Alt key, you'll toggle to that Convert Anchor Point tool. So if I want to fix these points over here, I just need to re-pull them, and then I'm going to hold down Alt and click on that handle and break it. Same thing here. I can re-pull this handle, and then I'm going to hold down Alt, click on that handle to break it. Okay. Let's zoom in so we can see that. Okay. Again, to fix or re-pull a handle with the pen tool, just hold down the Alt key, click and drag to re-pull your anchor point, and then hold down the Alt key to switch to your Convert Anchor Point again and break your handle. Another handy trick is toggling back to your selection tool. Sometimes you use this to deselect your object. Like if I want to deselect my object, I can hold down Control, that'll toggle to my selection tool, and I can click off of that to deselect it. But if you make the last selection tool you use the Direct Select tool, okay, and you go back to your pen tool, you can actually toggle between your pen tool and your Direct Select tool if you need to. So now I can kind of hold down Control, and I can really match this curve to the wheel well here for my drawing. Alright, and that looks a whole lot more accurate. Okay, and I'm just using my Direct Select tool by holding down the Control button to toggle to my last selection tool, which was the Direct Select tool. I can hold down the spacebar now and move around and clean up some more points. Once you've got kind of the hang of drawing objects and then cleaning them up, you can add color if you want. I don't necessarily care. What I want to see out of you is I want to see you trace a drawing that you've made with the pen tool. So I don't necessarily care how well it turns out, so long as you trace your drawing with the pen tool. Because you're doing a quick sketch, a drawing that you probably don't care about, you'll sort of realize real quick that you want to spend a lot longer on your drawings. You'll realize that the tighter and the nicer your drawings look, the better the tracing will go. You're also going to realize that you can actually you can do this. The more practice you get doing it with hard things that you actually want to do, the more likely you're going to want to do it, and the better you're going to get at it. So I'm not going to sit here and trace the rest of this car, but just make sure you be patient and draw your objects first, and then go back and adjust them so that you don't get too frustrated.